Hi, I'm Ed Highland. This is AEM TV, and I've got the honor now of being joined by Rich Goldsbury, who is the president of Bobcat and Doosan NA. Rich, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you.
Fascinating session here at the annual meeting for AEM, and you're talking a lot about the workforce, the difficulty of bringing in workforce, the talents that you really need. Give us some idea about this war that's going on that you talked about.
Well, we talked a little bit about how Gen X and Gen Ys approach work differently than we did. You know, I'm a baby boomer, and there's a lot of millennials in the audience, etc. They approach work differently, and so we need to adapt. We are, as a construction industry or an agriculture manufacturing industry, we are an old line business, and we can be perceived by younger folks as being the wrong place to be. So we need to adapt how we deal with the workforce and how we work with them so we're more attractive, because we're in an exciting business, right? And so what I talked about earlier today was maybe our competition set isn't really always Caterpillar, Deere, and my rest of my main competitors. Maybe it's people like Google and Microsoft, some of the exciting, innovative areas that you really think of first when you think about innovation.
Give us some idea of, it's a broad picture, I realize, but there are many things you're looking for specifically to your aspect of the industry. Give us some ideas of some of the talent ranges that you're looking at, some specific areas that you might be trying to seek out.
Well, certainly when we talked earlier about STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math are key to my business, and I think most businesses today. There's not enough kids going into those fields today, not enough women going into those fields today. So we've got to find ways to encourage more development in the STEM areas at our universities and at our grade schools and at our high schools, etc. So that's what I'm looking for. The other piece that often doesn't get talked about is there's a lot of work out there for welders. There's a lot of work out there for service technicians. So there's a space for them. And it's a very good paying and a very profitable space to be. So we've got to acknowledge that we've got to find people that are willing to work with their hands, willing to work on equipment, because that's DNA to our business.
A key thing you mentioned, wrote it down actually when you were talking about what you wanted to see change not only in your industry but also across the industry spectrum was culture. Can you explain what you mean by that?
Well, culture for me is very critical to any corporation. And I think a lot of times we sit in a company and we think we're innovative and we think we're neat and we're cool, and we're really not. You have to look at your company from the outside and how everybody looks at you. And oftentimes what they actually see is not as innovative as you really think you are. So you've got to set yourself up to be more innovative, to accelerate your ideas, to think about your culture and how you can change your culture to be more adaptive, to be more innovative. And how you do that is by setting up your organization, by setting up your facilities, by setting up your hiring practices, etc., to facilitate that for the long term. And when I talked about that, it's not for just 3 months from now, it's not for 6 months from now. You'll see the benefits from making these investments and these actions 5, 10, 15 years down the road. You may not see them as a leader. You may be gone, retired, or whatever, but if you really are serious about your legacy and what you can do for your company, you've got to get your culture right.
Do we need to be better advocates as an industry, getting out there and making the cause known, not only to America, but also to the next gen you were talking about?
Oh, yes. Yes, we really do. But what I talked about earlier today was just don't benchmark our industry. You know, it's easy for me to go and be similar to Caterpillar or Deere or any other company like that. What we need to do is look outside of our industry, because a lot of ideas can happen from that. So benchmarking is incredibly important. Go visit other industries. Go visit furniture business, or go visit ATV business, something outside of our space, Google, Microsoft, etc. They're willing to talk to you. And you can find some salient ideas from these guys that I think are really exciting. And then you can apply those in your business and become stronger.
Rich, thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And this is AEM TV.